Previously on Axiom Verge.
Who are you?
I am Tilo.
What are you doing here?
Uduk-Hul.
What does Uduk-Hul mean?
Demon.
What does it look like? Is Tilo and Uduk-Hul?
No.
What is Tilo? What happened to Athetos?
I am Athetos.
But you just said you are Tilo.
I am Tilo.
How can you be Athetos if you are Tilo? Who do you think I am?
Athetos.
Why did you attack me? Do you remember attacking me?
Tilo attack. Demon.
If you have been wondering when we're going to get done with picking up random items all over the place and move on with the actual plot, this episode is for you, because we're going to proceed with the plot now, and this is where the plot of the game really picks up, in a new area called Ukkin-Na. From what I can tell from Googling, that term seems to mean something along the lines of assembly or assembly hall. This, by the way, is a point of no return, so if you want to do anything back in any of the other areas before now, do so. We won't be stuck in here for too long, but because there's no place to stand, we can't lab coat back through there. Because of that, I suspect that Ukkin-Na is what the notes we saw previously that referred to Council Rock are referring to. Now, this thing up here is an Annihiwaiter. I don't know why it's called that, because I don't think it's possible for it to actually damage us in any way. If you hack it, all it does is stand up, so you can use it as a slightly higher platform. This is also the only one of these things in the game, so I don't know. That thing up there is a Pillbug. When you hack it, all it does is slow down a little bit. The way those things work is when you get close to them, they roll around for a little bit, and while they are rolled up, you can't damage them. So you basically have to keep trying to do that before they can, or after they finish rolling up, or before they can roll up again, and they're kind of a pain. But up here, if we can avoid the Pillbug, we get another health node fragment, good for restoring our health. There's some other important looking item in a egg up there. We cannot get that yet. There's no way to drill through that ceiling or anything. So I guess we move on. Again, one-way traversal there. They want to make really sure, I guess, that we... Oh, what was that? He even changed his clothes when I did. You will remember we briefly saw another trace sprite running around in Z significantly earlier in the game. We just got a brief glimpse, but now we're going to explore that a little further. What's over here? Well, we can't go out this way. As I was saying, I guess they want to make really sure we do whatever we can do in here. This save point, by the way, I believe if you die in this next area, your most recent save point will get automatically set to this one, even if you don't save here. So another way they make sure you can't do any save warping shenanigans to get out of here early. Or sequence break or anything. same thing again. Well, I guess we need to chase him. There's really no other way to go in this area right now. Elsinova doesn't believe us when we mention it. So either our own eyes are misleading us, or Elsinova is misleading us. Which one's more likely? I don't know. Our own eyes seem to be doing some slightly weird things in here. Nice gothic tile set, though. Interesting change from the green. And for some reason, there's a yellow dot up there. Surely I can't have gotten every item in Ukkin-Na already, but the map says I did. I don't know. This thing over here is a silver Sentry. Best thing to do with them is just try to get them hung up on a barrier so you can kill for them at your leisure. By hacking them, their hitbox gets a little bit bigger, which makes it a bit easier to do that. And get to that door. I have heard, according to the wiki, that the sprite they use for the sentries there is based on the Missing No Pokemon from glitches in that game. I've never used the Missing No glitch in Pokemon, so I don't know for sure. Trace is finding this as uncomfortable to look at as we are. Elsinova believes us on this for some reason. And it's that pathogen that you thought previously wouldn't be a problem. So much for healing inside egg. Elsinova, Athetos, same difference. Probably. Contrary to what the game suggests, by the way, there's no time limit here or anything. What's that thing? There's a whole line of them. Spooky. That looks like a robot face up there. Did we make it? Get through this wall? Excellent. Or not. Aha! Trace figures it out. Again, a good example of how Trace actually does react to things the way you would expect a reasonably intelligent person to do so. He is able to work out that he is probably hallucinating here. Game data actually includes some more banter between Trace and the hallucinatory faces there. That doesn't show up, because the developers found it unnecessary, I suppose. Now, this area is kind of dangerous. Just make sure you don't do that. Those head things on the wall will fire as soon as you are in their line of sight, basically. There's a pretty long cooldown on that, though, so just try to get past them carefully while they're between shots. Again, no time limit. And these jumps are kind of challenging, so just take your time. This is the Hallucination Sequence, by the way, you'll hear people talk about. None of the unusual enemies in here can be hacked or anything, so just run past them as best you can. Try to avoid taking as much damage as you can. Note there are some little spiky things floating around that are very hard to see on the background. Those robed things up at the top there, stay far away from those. They are very dangerous. If you get anywhere near them, they will grab you and suck half your health away. I'm getting really low here, aren't I? I might need to run this sequence again, if I can't avoid the spiky thing. Made it? Made it. And it's boss time. Well, that hopefully means there's a save point right here. Excellent. so we can be full health for the boss, and hopefully hallucinating won't get in the way too much. So, what's going on over here? Is it another Dalek? Some kind of manta ray thing? Crap, I'm trapped, says Trace. With Trace's portrait there. I can't really stay put when there's a giant manta ray about to attack me. Elsinova, that man from before! He's here! He is? Where? Wait. Are you the manta ray now, Trace? Are you talking about the guy on the right? Demon, he says. Wait, I'm no demon, am I? Demon, Thetos say, kill. I'm sorry! I'm so sorry! Lost track of who we are now? Indeed we have. I am now controlling the boss. I can float around and try to fire a Trace. Got a couple weapons I could use, but it really doesn't matter, because there is no way you can actually do damage to the Trace character there. So just kind of wait for him to kill you. I believe in early versions of the game it was actually possible to kill Trace here, in which case the game would just freeze on you. Now that is no longer possible. But, yay, we won. Or lost, or something. Okay, game over, I guess. Are we starting over? Or is this where we realize it was all a dream? Are we waking up back in the real world now? Is that what we're doing now? Well, that'll make the remainder of the game challenging. Oh, so we didn't get transported to another world by a lab accident. How unusual. So this is a flashback. The lab just blew up and we survived fine, but didn't remember until now. Just heavily disabled. But then we realized how to transport ourselves into video game worlds. I don't think there's anything terribly meaningful about the images there. That thing on the left is Conway's Game of Life. I think there's a image of cell mitosis in there or something too. Just kind of random scientific-looking stuff. Somehow, all that went into a paper about a theory of everything that revolutionized physics. And Trace rocked shades. But of course, the physics community didn't believe it, because that's what they do, even when given incontrovertible evidence. Wait, what nickname? Oh. Okay then. So, Trace was really a Thetos all along? Is that why we've been seeing another Trace all over the place? Is that actually a Thetos running around? Now this is actually an interesting leap of logic Trace makes, which is a little uncharacteristic. The fact that he jumps to that conclusion rather than that Elsinova knows biographical stuff about him that he doesn't and is screwing around with him. Not that I think there's any reason he's wrong there, but... Oh look, it's another giant robot face. Is this real, Ophelia? Yes, we are still in a 2D platformer. Sorry, Trace. I have nanogates? When did that happen? Those little red things that come off you when you die, by the way, those are actually called nanogates in the game data. So, Ophelia claims that Trace is also a pattern mind, e.g. programmer, e.g. person who knows the fundamental structure of reality, probably because of scientific breakthroughs or something. But because Trace is also a pattern mind, he can use items like the disruptor and the passcode tool, all that, which the Rusalki cannot. Interesting, by the way, that Ophelia talks without any obvious accent. Elsinova talks in broken English. The other one, Veruska, talks colorfully. Ophelia seems kind of just like a normal person for a giant robot face. But apparently they just found the first pattern mind they came across to try and stop Athetos. Which I guess is another fairly standard video game trope. Unless they're leaving something out, which they probably are. Like that whole thing about how I just happen to have the same name as Athetos. But Athetos is right above us, they say, but it may take some time to get inside. Well, if going home means being blind and crippled, I'm not sure if that's the best plan. Again, this column-like architecture here is associated with a room that a Rusalki is in. For whatever that's worth. I don't know. But, if you look at the map now, we are in another part of Ukkin-Na, and you'll notice that we no longer have the item completion dot up there. That is because the Hallucination Sequence actually took place in a separate version of Ukkin-Na that only had that one item in it. But now there should be some other stuff we can get. Hello, drone. So, we've learned some things. I guess we can keep exploring now. Get a health node for our boss fight, such as it was. Let's see, we need to grab one up there, don't we? You can take out those Pillbugs by just shooting them from a distance before you trigger them. These little seaweed things, be cautious because they will damage you if you step into them. Need to do some grappling to get up here. And I don't think we can avoid taking damage from that one. Let's go above the Pillbug here. It's easier that way. Now, this note here is an interesting one. This is actually my first time playing the game, the first of the green notes written in this language that I found. I missed the earlier ones. And if you know how to go about deciphering a substitution cryptogram, what you normally do if you have no information about what any of the characters mean is you start looking for words that are short English words. There are only a few of those in English, so that you can usually make reasonable guesses based on that. And if you look at this note, even in the first 3 words there, you see 2 one-letter words, and there are only 2 one-letter words in the English language, so one of those characters is I, one of them is A. You can make the reasonable guess that that second one there is probably A. You can fill that in and say, I have a new dream, etc., etc., and it almost kind of leads your brain almost automatically into deciphering it. And it's made creepier by the fact that this is a Cyrillic-like alphabet. It's very similar to English characters in a lot of cases, which makes it even further like your brain naturally wants to translate it. And when you do, someone's talking about dreaming of how pleasurable death is or something, and killing. So, whatever that means. But that being the first time I'd encountered that character set, my suspicion was that this whole game was actually a hallucination Trace was having to deal with murderous anger he was feeling after his accident, and Athetos was a personification of his repressed anger or something. And that note was that repressed voice coming out and talking about what it actually wanted to do or something. Being reinforced by all the blood and stuff that you see in Erebru and Absu. We know, of course, in this playthrough, that's not what it is. We know that those notes are written by the Rusalki, and the writer of that note was probably Veruca, who just talks like that. Whatever. I don't think we know who she's talking about at that point. Maybe she's talking about Trace. I wouldn't put it past them at this point. That thing they said about our nanogates helping us, by the way, this is the elevator that Elsinova mentioned that leads to Athetos, but we can't do much here. Can't quite... Can grapple up there, okay. So we can get up here if we try hard enough, and if we jump and fire the drone straight up, and try to do that. Can we make it up there? We can make it up there, then, okay, the drone can wander up here. Then there's some stuff we can teleport through here, but the drone can't teleport, so... Yeah, we can't make it through there until we have a way of getting a way to teleport through this stuff. And there are a couple more barriers up there that we can't get through yet either, so it'll be a while. But they are not lying to us. That is indeed where Athetos and the final area of the game are. But we won't be going there just yet. Anyway, what I was saying is that the nanogates they were talking about, we've previously seen those as something that they extracted from killing Kachahasta, and were planning to use them to control someone. I bet they were probably using nanogates to control me, not Athetos. So, make of that what you will. Now, this is the room where we hallucinated that Manta boss. There's no sign of it now, the room looks completely different. The only thing floating here is another robot head, a small one. This thing is called Daraga. That's never mentioned in the dialogue or anything, but there is a Steam card about it, which I think is the only way you can know that name. And you can't really do anything to it. To her, probably. Except if you shoot the drone into her mouth, which takes more accuracy than I'm getting right now. There it is. She will actually transport you up to this ledge in drone form. Not sure why that panel exists. The drone can come over here. We can't do anything over here, even if we jump over all the seaweed stuff. You can't hack the seaweed, by the way. Don't worry about it. You also can't hack any of those weird things in the hallucinations, so don't worry about them either. But the drone can drill through up here, take this passageway, and very carefully navigate this gauntlet of green hivey things, whatever these are called. Sea sponge, green sea sponge. And also these bursty snow things. But we do all that, come up here and get another weapon disc, looks like. This one is the Turbine Pulse. Don't worry about trying to map the rest of this room, by the way. We will be back here with more mobility later. But the Turbine Pulse, basically you hold down the button. It's a short-range thing. Release the button, it fires a spread projectile. It's not good for much of anything, as far as I know. So, despite the red door, no boss fight in this area. And now we get to explore these shafts of Ukkin-Na properly with no hallucination, and they look a lot more normal. have a lot more of these annoying sentries in them. There's not actually much point in hacking them from above, is there? Oh! Forgot about that one. You'll remember I saw these in Indie earlier. You hack them, they break through a few more of these things. Ah! There are a couple more over here, of course. That one doesn't do anything special. About this one. Well, that one actually breaks through a little more oddly, and if you drop down where it was, you can actually come down here with the drone. And come over here. Another health node? No, power node. Okay. I'll take it. Remember, too, that if you hack these things, they are a good source of health refills. And it's just a lot easier to get past them in that situation, too. So there were doors over here we couldn't get to before when we were hallucinating, and that one we still can't. I'll just run past it. I think there's anything over there. Let's see, I come down here and this room looks a lot different. For one thing, I don't have quite as much cover for dealing with the sentries now. For another thing, there's a door up there now. That requires me to go the long way around again to get to it. Does hacking you actually help me much? Not much. Fortunately, they're reasonably generous with health drops. I don't think there's anything up here. So, what's up here? Well, we can't get that yet. I like that cavernous waterfall background that you see there. It kind of reinforces the idea that this is Council Rock, the place where the Sudrans had their big seat of government built on top of the mountain or something. Oh, what's that? New outfit? It is. Now we get to wear a brown leotard. Or yellow something. Just for demonstration purposes. That's what the Trenchcoat looks like without the Justin Bailey code. Who wants to see Trace wearing pants? So what we can do now that we have that is basically transport through walls in midair, like that. Get items like that. That also allows us to teleport 2 squares instead of 1, like that. And that gives us a lot more mobility teleport-wise than we had previously. Now, check my map real quick. Where am I going now? I think I go down from here. Can shortcut down here now. I don't care about you. I can outrun you. Now we can get through this door. Whatever's over here. If you didn't hack one of these slugs and get the health node fragment from them, now would be a good time to do so. Swarms on me. Time. So, what note is this? Someone is speculating about the nature of the breach and the breach attractor. I think this is basically just technobabble. I don't think it really has any direct relevance to anything. Except that they note that the Sudrins are using the breach to keep intruders out, but whoever wrote this note is using it to keep something else trapped in. My guess would be the Rusalki, given that we previously saw the author or authors of these purple notes talking about hiding items from the Rusalki. The Sudrins don't know about this. They think the breach is the storm, I suppose. And again, we see someone named A7 as one of the contributors to this conversation. So, there is some organization that I don't think we know anything about at this time, studying Sudra, studying the breach, apparently using tools like the Pascal tool to interpret the Sudran language, opposing the Rusalki in some way, and also turning into the boss variants we've encountered. Which we've been told are soldiers of Thetis. Now, I don't know if there's a way to get over there and get that fragment right now or not. There's a switch over there taunting us, but as far as I've been able to figure out, there is, even with the lab coat, no way to get down there and get to it. There will be another way of getting over there later, certainly, but I don't know. I suspect that switch is just a red herring, but for the time being, though, I wish to go all the way back up. Based on our current information, I think we can reasonably conclude that those purple notes are probably written by people working for Thetos who later became Thetos' human soldiers. So the interesting thing is, they don't sound all that hostile. They're not talking about, waha, we're gonna kill all the Sudrins or anything. They sound just like scientists. Much like Trace, if he is indeed a Thetos or alternate of Thetos is. So, whatever that means. We don't know yet. Guess we're just gonna have to go find a Thetos and ask. That's a good plan, right? Mass murderers are usually pretty forthcoming. But with the lab coat, we can send the drone around here to the bottom of this room, pick up another fragment. Nothing else we can do in here. Still nothing we can do up there. Except wave to a Thetos as we walk underneath him, I suppose. back over here. And again, a really nice view of the waterfalls in this chamber. But you'll notice on the map, this is not the bottom of this shaft. That tells us we can probably go through the floor and... Whoa! Help? What's going on? I don't know. Well, we end up down here where we saw that egg earlier. It's actually a green note. Let's see, which one is this? Oh yeah, this one. Well... Okay, you will remember that earlier we found a green note that was a reply with this same title. So there was an exchange between two of the Rusalki about another Rusalki they don't entirely trust and they're thinking about killing. They seem pretty fond of the topic, for some reason. I'm not sure if we can make any firm conclusions about who they're talking about. The reply was certainly written in what sounds like Veruska's style. They refer to someone else named Drushka, who we haven't met, and we actually do not meet in this game. We don't know who that is. If we assume that the writer of this note was actually Elsinova, who is about the only other Rusalki we know about, other than the transportation ones, who probably are not a factor, I guess we can assume that they consider Ophelia an outsider who has some crazy plans, and they don't really trust, because she doesn't come from the same place they do or something. But, I don't know. That's about all I can conclude about that right now. So, anyway, that is all we can currently do in Ukkin-Na. But now that we have the lab coat, we can continue out the other end of it on the right. And that is what I will be doing next time. Thank you for watching, and good night.